At this time, we're ready to begin our Shetland show. If you've got a yearling ram, this first class is for you. Shetland yearling rams to the ring, please. For those of you visiting us here at the Big E today, we are having our fleece judging directly behind the curtain back in that main aisleway. Also, the Shetland show, as I said, begins now, and at 1:30 will be our Cotswold show. There will not be a working dog demo today at 12 noon, as the book says. Our person that does our demos is homesick, so we're hoping that she'll be back yet by the weekend or early next week so she can carry on that tradition, but no working dog demo today. We do want to welcome our judge today. Our judge is Dr. Sean Ramsey from College Station, Texas. He's a professor and assistant head for the undergraduate programs at Texas A&M, and he's also the Texas A&M AgriLife Sheep and Goat Extension Specialist. Sean has raised sheep for over 45 years. After receiving his Bachelor of Science degree at Texas A&M in Animal Science, and his master's and doctorate degrees in animal and range science from New Mexico State, he returned to Texas A&M in the fall of 1995 to start teaching and coaching the wool judging team. His wool judging teams have won 22 national or reserve national titles. He's also developed the Aggieland lamb and goat camps, where exhibitors learn about showmanship, nutrition, health, and exercise. Dr. Ramsey has judged sheep and goats at the state and national levels in 30 different states. During his professional career, he's been honored with numerous teaching awards from Texas A&M as well as national recognitions. Let's welcome Dr. Sean Ramsey to the Big E. Shetland is a very old breed of sheep, having originated over 1,000 years ago. Shetlands belong to the Northern European short-tailed group of sheep, which also includes the Finn sheep, Icelandics, Romanovs, and others. The Shetland is the smallest of the British breeds, and it retains many of the characteristics of the wild sheep of that area. Today, they are considered a primitive or unimproved breed. Shetlands are known primarily for their colorful wool upon which the Shetland woolen industry is based. Shetland wool comes in one of the widest ranges of colors of any of the breeds. There are 11 main colors as well as 30 markings, many still bearing their name from the Shetland dialect.
Well, good morning. It's my pleasure to get to come to the Big E and judge the sheep and evaluate these animals that we've got out here. A really nice class of Shetland rams to start our morning off. I think we've got a lot of depth of quality all the way down the line. The ram that we're going to use today, I'll be the first to admit I'd like to strengthen up his top line just a little bit. But when you get this guy on the move, here's the biggest bodied, roundest rib guy. He's biggest in terms of the three-dimensional skeleton out through the top of his hip. And then when you get a part in that fleece, one of the longest stapled, softest fleeces that we've got out here. I love the luster and I love the crimp that this guy brings to the ring. The ram that we've got here in second, another one that's just a touch finer, a little more luster and fineness in terms of micron diameter in relationship to our class winner. Maybe doesn't have quite the body in terms of spring to that rib or bone work that we see, but I think a ram in terms of the softness and the handle of that fleece, the uniformity, I think that's one that fits up here very nicely. A little bluish gray one we've got here in third. Here's one that really catches my eye when he comes in. He's got some bone. He's got some turn to that rib. When you get your hands and part that fleece, I love the color. I love the style of that lock as we move from shoulder to breech. And I think one that brings a lot of structural soundness to the ring. He's not the biggest one here in the class, but in terms of the quality, how he's put together, his style and balance, I think he fits up here very nicely. The little ram white one that we've got here in fourth, another just really nice balanced ram that's got a lot of good qualities in terms of his structure and how he's put together. Maybe he just gives up in terms of fleece quality to the three above him. I mean, don't see quite the pop and the luster and the distinctness of that crimp and that fineness, but I think of a ram that fits up here just in terms of his balance and his lines and how he's put together very nicely up here in our top four. Little brown guy that we've got here and round out our top end, one that, man, I'd just love to give him a little more volume and handle those back legs a little bit, but you got to appreciate this guy to get him up here in the top five. When you part the fleece on this guy, you've got a beautiful fleece. It's got a lot of luster. That chocolate brown just really shines through there. I know these guys are a coarser wool breed, but the quality of this one's fleece, I think to me is what gets him up here in our top end. Let's give these exhibitors a big hand. Thank you guys for bringing them out.
Next class will be Senior Ram Lambs. Senior Ram Lambs will be your next class. Results from the yearling ram class for our Shetland show. First place goes to entry 1868, Broken Rock F, Briar 0290, Victoria Wiggins McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. That ram weighing 110. Second place to 1866, Broken Rock F, Queso 0266, Brian McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. That ram weighing 94. Third to entry 1872, Mershell Springs Tube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. That ram weighing 90 pounds. 4 to 1870, Amy Springs Tube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. 5 to 1869, Brian McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. Sixth place to 1867, Victoria Wiggins McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. 7 to 1873, Alexandra Springs Tube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. 8th place to 1870, Alexandra Springs Tube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. And 9 to Mershell, Mershell Springs Tube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts on 1874. Here's your first Shetland trivia question. Who was the judge of the 2018 Shetland show here at the Big E?
Well, another high quality class, and we get up here in this top end. I think you can do a lot of different things. I'll kind of tell you where I put my emphasis. The young lady up here in the front end brings us one that I just appreciate for the combination in terms of his body, his bone work, his depth of rib, his circumference of rib. He's got a lot of performance working down that skeleton. And then when you part that fleece, you love the luster, you love the softness in the handle on this guy, a lot of character and style to that fleece as you go back from shoulder to breech. The ram that we've got here in second maybe doesn't have quite the stoutness in the body, but what he excels in is the length of staple, another fleece that's maybe not as fine as the class winner above him, but it's extremely long and extremely lustrous in terms of the hand spinning industry. That one's going to bring a premium in terms of what he will allow the different spinners to do. You got to love the color and the luster that this guy has. The little ram that we've got here in third, another one, I just appreciate this one. More of a finer fibered type of fleece that we've got on this guy, a lot more dense. It's a different type of pattern than we see in the top two, but I think a ram that comes in here, he's big bodied, he's got a lot of productivity about him. I think he's going to sire females that are going to be able to produce multiple lambs, maybe just a little finer in terms of his true wool type. I see just a little more belly wool coming up on the side on this guy, and that's probably why he's down here in third. The little black ram that we've got here in fourth, another one we just like to take and evaluate him later, but in terms of what he brings to the ring as far as today, super long fibered, very high luster, a lot of crimp, a lot of really high quality character in this fleece. We just like to see a little more stoutness in terms of his body. He wants to get over just a little bit in terms of his knee placement, and we get him on the move. Maybe just like to see him handle those legs just a little better. The white ram rounding out our top 5-1, I definitely appreciate for the breed character in terms of his head. I love the way that horn set comes out, very unique in terms of his color pattern. I'd just like to see it just a little more denser, a little more style and character to that fleece to get him up higher in the class. Thank you guys. Let's give these exhibitors a big hand.
So the answer to the question about who was the judge at the 2018 Shetland show at the Big E is Jake Reister of Washington. Placing on the class of Shetland Senior Ram Lambs, first place goes to entry 1875, Springs Tube, 0870, Bart. Mershell Springs Tube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. That ram weighing 69 pounds. Second to 1878, Broken Rock, 0367, Bourbon. Victoria Wiggins McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. That ram weighing 59 pounds. Third to entry 1882, Katie Cole, Bolton, Massachusetts. That ram weighing 60 pounds. Fourth place to 1879, Brian McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. 5 to 1876, Alexandra Springs Tube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. Sixth place to 1877, Alexandra Springs Tube. And 7 to entry 1880, Brian McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. 8th place to 1881, Victoria Wiggins McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. Now showing junior ram lambs.
A lot of rams in our junior Shetland ram class, a lot of quality working all the way down. And, you know, I get to line them up based on my selection criteria. There's a lot of great genetics out here in terms of where you want to go with your own particular flock. I think these top 5 or 6 that we've got up here have a lot of good things. I try to kind of pick the combination. To me, the little brown ram that we're going to start our class with today, he's a combination ram. He comes to me, he's not the biggest ram in the class, but he's exceptional in terms of his skeleton and his feet and legs. I'm a big skeleton person in terms of longevity and keeping these animals in the flock for extended periods of time. And I think this guy excels the class in terms of you watch him move and how he moves around the ring, and then you get your hands on him in terms of structural soundness. And then in terms of the combination, when you part the fleece on this guy, he's got a beautiful, really chocolate, kind of rust-colored fiber on him that excels in terms of length of staple. It's got a lot of good crimp from tip to base. It's very uniform. And on a lot of these breeds, when we get into this coarser, they tend to lose that distinction of crimp as you move from base to tip of the fiber, and that's not the case on this guy. The ram that we've got in second, another bigger bodied. I definitely appreciate the productivity of this guy. Super in terms of his fleece quality. Another really long stapled fleece. It's got a beautiful crimp to it that excels in terms of uniformity from brace to tip. Maybe just a little more luster and handle than we have in our class winner. But I'd just like to change this guy up and make him handle those back legs a little bit better when we ask him to go and get him in motion. But one I think gets up here in our top pair just in terms of body mass and length and quality of fiber. The little brown guy that we've got here in third, another one you definitely appreciate him. Another one that's level topped. He's big ribbed. He's really neat into the design. You know, this would be one that when you shear him, you're going to be pleased with how he's put together. But when you part the fleece, another one that you definitely appreciate the uniqueness of the color on this guy. I love his head set, his horn set on this one too. I think he fits up here nicely in our top 3. A really cool one that we've got in fourth, maybe doesn't have quite the style to that lock or the character that we see, but I think a ram that when you part that, you definitely have to appreciate the crimp that he has. He moves around the ring very well, and I think another ram that has a lot of genetic potential. And then to round out our top 5, a little guy here, he's given up a lot of days of age and the days on feed, but this guy is really unique in terms of how he's put together. He's leveled down his top line. I love his shape of his head, how it comes out, how those horns come out the top of his skull. But when you part the fleece, a very unique color. I love the character and a lot of style to this lock. Let's give these exhibitors all a big hand. Appreciate you bringing them out.
Next class is pair of ram lambs. Pair ram lambs, your next class. Placing on the class of junior ram lambs, first place goes to entry 1892, Springs Tube 0862, Dippy. Mershell Springs Tube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. That ram weighing 49 pounds. Second to 1885, Wild Air 0100, Chambers, Montana Airy, Bolton, Massachusetts. That ram weighing 69 pounds. Third, first in our junior show, goes to entry 1891, WS Farms 0861, Tom Tom. William Higgs, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. That ram weighing 47. Fourth place to 1884, Montana Airy, Bolton, Massachusetts. Fifth to 1886, Victoria Wiggins McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. Sixth place to 1889, Alexandra Springs Tube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. 7 to 1887, Brian McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. 8 to 1883, Katie Cole, Bolton, Massachusetts. 9 to entry 1895, Mershell Springs Tube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. 10 to 1890, Alexandra Springs Tube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. Placing on the pair of ram lambs for the Shetland show. First place goes to Montana Airy, Bolton, Massachusetts. Second place to Victoria Wiggins McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. Third to Katie Cole, Bolton, Massachusetts. 4 to Mershell Springs Tube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. 5 to Brian McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. 6 to Alexandria Springs Tube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. And 7 to Amy Springs Tube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. Now showing for Open Show Champion and Reserve Champion Ram. Also, we'd like to have William Higgs to have your lamb from the ram class of junior ram lambs ringside and ready, because once we're done with the Open Show Champion and Reserve, we will recognize our junior show champion and champion ram.
Well, congratulations to our ram exhibitors out here to make the champion drive. I think we've got 6 animals that represent the breed very well. I think there's 2 of them out here in my mind when we go out and evaluate terms of body shape, body conformation, how they handle their feet and legs, their body size and mass, their breed type, and put all that together and go back and look at wool quality, the fiber quality on these guys. I think there's a couple to me that kind of put them all together. We're going to go out and select those. Let's give them one more hand. Congratulations.
Our open show champion ram goes to the first place yearling ram, 1868, Broken Rock F0290, Briar, Victoria Wiggins McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. The open show reserve champion ram was the first place junior ram lamb, entry 1892, Springs Tube 0862, Dippy, Mershell Springs Tube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. If William Higgs would bring his ram out, entry 1891. And this is our junior show champion ram. It was 3rd place in the open show in the junior ram lamb class, 1st place in the junior show. Entry 1891, WS Farms 0861, Tom Tom, William Higgs, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts, and he'll receive a $50 gift card from Boot Barn. Now ready for yearling ewes, Shetland yearling ewes. Okay, here's your second Shetland trivia question. At the 2013 Big E Shetland show, who was the exhibitor with the champion ewe on a yearling and first place exhibitor's flock? Well, the answer is, Debbie got it right off the bat. It's Montana Airy.
Well, a lot of quality in this U class, and we get up here, and it's it's a lot of fun to evaluate and look at the different genetics and where the different selection priority has been in terms of structure or fiber quality or fineness. I think this top end up here is really exceptional in terms of what they bring to the ring. The ewe that we're going to start with, she's big bodied, big stout. She's very fluid in her movements. When we ask her to go around the ring, is she the finest fibered in the class? No, but in terms of luster and character and a lot of style to that lock, I think this female really excels in terms of the combination and in terms of maternal ability and fiber production. The ewe that we've got here in second, another one I definitely appreciate. She no doubt she's the biggest rib, biggest volume ewe that we've got out here today. I love that capacity about her. There's no doubt this ewe can go out and hustle and eat enough and raise a set of twins and carry a set of twins. She's a little shorter stapled, a different type of lock type and style of fiber that we have on her. Again, another one that's got a lot of crimp from base to tip. Is very uniform, maybe just a touch of belly wool right there on her side, but I think in terms of how that fleece moves around the body, the style and how it transitions, I think she fits up here in our top two very easily. The smaller ewe here, a little more refined, a ewe that still moves around the ring very well, and to me, it's her luster and fiber quality that gets her up here into our top three. I think it got very close between the third and fourth place ewes, but that luster, that style of that lock, that formation, and she's very feminine up there about her head and neck. The ewe that we've got here in fourth, another ewe that I definitely appreciate. She brings some body, some length of staple, maybe not handle those back legs as well as the ones above her, but I think she fits up here very nicely. The ewe in fifth, and one that, man, I definitely appreciate this one. When she came in the ring, she caught my eye. I love how she stands. I love how she moves around the ring. She's one of the bigger boned females that we've got out here, and another one that's got a lot of distinction and definition of design out through that hip and through the curvature of that rib. To where I'd like to fault her, I'd just like to see a little more style of that fleece. It just wants to get a little lack of luster, a little dull for me, and doesn't quite have the handle that we see in the four above it. But I definitely keep her up here in my top five just in terms of body shape and style. Let's give these exhibitors a big hand. Nice set of class, a lot of quality all the way down the line.
Next class will be pair of yearling ewes. Placing on the yearling ewe class, first place goes to entry 1907, Broken Rock 0310, Aurelia, Victoria Wiggins McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. Second place, and that ewe weighed 83 pounds. Second place to 1910, Wild Air 0091, Lulu, Montana Airy, Bolton, Massachusetts. That ewe weighing 96. Third place to 1909, Brian McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. That ewe weighing 74. Fourth place to 1905, Brian McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. Fifth place to 1903, Alexandra Springs Tube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. Sixth place to entry 1913, Amy Springs Tube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. 7 to 1912, Montana Erie, Bolton, Massachusetts. 8th place to entry number 1911, Katie Cole, Bolton, Massachusetts. 9 to 1908, Katie Cole. 10th place to entry number 1917. First place in the junior show went to 1914, William Higgs, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts, with Springs Tube 0819 Waffles. Placing on the pair of yearling ewes, first place goes to entry 1920, Brian McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. Second to entry 1918, Montana Erie, Bolton, Massachusetts. Third to entry 1921, Alexandra Springs Tube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. 4 to entry 1919, Katie Cole, Bolton, Massachusetts. 5 to entry number 1922, Amy Springs Tube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. And 6 to entry 1923, Mershell Springs Tube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. Now ready for senior ewe lambs. So here's the next trivia question for the Shetland show. At the 2013 Big E Shetland show, who was the exhibitor of the champion ram, first place breeder's flock, and first place premier exhibitor award? And the answer to that question, Debbie got it. It's Georgiana Springs Tube.
Well, when I get into our young ewes, really exceptional class, a lot of good sheep in here, and the differences are very minute. And so a couple different things. I think when we get up here on these top two, I definitely appreciate the breed type and character. They're very feminine about their head. They're extended up through their front end. I think depending on where you want to go in terms of how they handle their feet and legs, I think the one we're going to start with, maybe just a little wider base. I see just a little more stoutness working through the center part of that rib cage in terms of capacity, in terms of raising lambs. They both got different types of fleeces. The ewe that we're going to win, I really appreciate the length, the luster, a little coarser type fleece that we see in her, but I think she fits up here very nicely. Little ewe that we've got in second, another one. It's got a lot of capacity, a lot of rib. Again, a totally different type of fiber production in relationship to our class winner. One that's a little finer fibered. We've got more distinct, a tighter type of crimp, and just a more unique type of fiber with a lot of luster in it. I think she fits up here very nicely in our top two. The little ewe that we've got in third, another one. I definitely appreciate how she handles her feet and legs as we move around the ring. Tremendous amount of fiber production, in terms of just pounds of fiber. This ewe excels the class. She's super long stapled, a little coarser, and surprisingly, when a lot of times when you get them, man, she is really uniform from her front to her back. Depending on your breed standard, how you want to interpret that. I know the Shetland is known. It can have some variability in the fleeces, but in terms of fiber production and selection and the genetic heritability of the wool, I love the fiber on this one, even though it's a coarser one in the class, but it's got a lot of character and luster. Another really nice bodied ewe that's got some Springer rib. I think in order for her to get up here in the top three, I just need to see a little more luster and style to that lock formation. And then to round out our top five, another ewe that definitely appreciate for the body. She's got a very fine fleece. It's got a unique crimp to it, and I think that gets her up here in terms of just fiber quality. Nice set of females, a lot of genetic potential out here. Let's give these exhibitors all a big hand.
Placing on the senior ewe lamb class, first place to entry number 1927, Broken Rock F0354, Glads, Brian McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts, that ewe weighing 43 pounds. Second to 1931, Redbud 0084, Ollie, Montana Airy, Bolton, Massachusetts, that ewe weighing 38. Third place to entry number 1930, Katie Cole, Bolton, Massachusetts, that ewe weighing 41. Fourth place to entry 1926, Victoria Wiggins McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. 5 to entry 1929, Katie Cole, Bolton, Massachusetts. Sixth place to 1933, Alexandra Springstube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. 7 to 1932, Alexandra Springstube. Eighth place to entry 1928, Brian McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. And 9 to 1925, Victoria Wiggins McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. Now ready for junior ewe lambs. All right, here's the final Shetland trivia question. At the 2018 Big E Shetland Show, who was the exhibitor of the best fleeced Shetland? We will give you a hint. That person is not showing here today. And Debbie got that one. It's Olivia Tower from Massachusetts.
A lot of fun evaluating these, and you go through and start evaluating. There's a lot of different pieces to the puzzle in this class. The ewe that we're going to start with is no doubt a little bigger, broodier type of ewe. I definitely appreciate the volume that she has, the capacity, extremely feminine up through that front end, how she's designed. Maybe we could strengthen her up in terms of her hocks and how she handles those when we put her on the move. But here's one that's tremendous in terms of capacity, and when you part that fleece, just a beautiful fleece, extremely a lot of character, a lot of luster, very distinct in terms of the crimp formation, and extremely soft handling. The little multicolored ewe that we've got in second, another one that's very good on her feet and legs. She's got some width and dimension through that chest floor. She's got the potential to go on and have a lot more capacity and raise those lambs. I think she's one of the longer stapled, denser fibered females that we've got in the class. Maybe doesn't have as much luster and style as the ewe in front of her, but I think brings a very, very nice fleece with extreme density up to the top of the class. It's pure body on this one in third. The little white ewe, I love when she moves around the ring. She's got a lot of muscle down that top. She's got a lot of dimension out through that tip. She's the widest pinned ewe that we've seen today. I think when you part that fleece, we could see a little more luster, but again, one that's adequate in terms of its style and lock and crimp formation. I think the combination of her body type and design gets her up here in a very tough trio that we have up here in our top pair. The little black ewe that we've got up here, again, I'd just like to stouten this ewe up to get her up higher in the class, but she gets up here in terms of fiber. She's beautiful in terms of the color, the distinction, a lot of luster in that fleece, and extremely has a high handling quality in terms of softness all the way back. It produce garments that are going to have a lot of wearability to them. And then rounding out our top five, another ewe again. We'd just like to stouten this female up. She's not very big, but she's got a lot of quality about her in terms of how she handles those feet and legs. And again, when you part the fleece on this one, here's one that's got one of the better touches, the better handles of anything that we've seen today in the class. A lot of style about this lock formation. I guess a nice five ewes up here in the top end, a lot of quality on down as well. Let's give these exhibitors all a big hand.
Now showing pair of ewe lambs. Placing on the junior ewe lamb class, first place goes to entry 1934, Wild Air 0098, Little Moose, Montana Airy, Bolton, Massachusetts, that ewe weighing 55 pounds. Second place to 1940, Springs Tube 0842, Elsie May, Alexandra Springs Tube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts, that ewe weighing 44 pounds. Third to entry 1945, Amy Springs Tube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts, that ewe weighing 46 pounds. 4 to entry 1938, Victoria Wiggins McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. 5 to 1935, Brian McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. 6 to 1939, Alexandria Springs Tube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. 7 to 1944, Amy Springs Tube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. 8th place to entry 1937, Victoria Wiggins McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. 9 to entry 1942, Mershell Springs Tube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. 10, first in the junior show to 1941, WS Farms 0853, Raven, William Higgs, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. Now ready to show for Open Show Champion and Reserve Champion U. Placing on the pair of ewe lambs for the Shetland show, first place goes to entry 1946, Montana Airy, Bolton, Massachusetts. Second place to entry 1952, Victoria Wiggins McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. Third to entry 1949, Alexandra Springs Tube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. 4 to entry 1950, Amy Springs Tube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. 5 to entry 1948, Brian McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. 6 to entry 1947, Katie Cole, Bolton, Massachusetts. And 7 to entry 1951, Mershell Springs Tube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. Following the selection of our Open Show Champion and Reserve Champion U, we will show for Junior Show Champion and Reserve U. So William Higgs, you do need to have your animals ringside and ready, both Waffles and Raven.
Well, again, it's been a great morning getting to evaluate the Shetland breed out here. We've seen a lot of exceptional genetics that have been brought out here. It's been a lot of fun for me to get to evaluate these guys. Again, when we get out here, fundamentals on any kind of sheep breed, soundness and body capacity, and then you throw in these wool breeds in terms of the fiber that they're producing. We've got a lot of variability in the Shetland breed, and that's acceptable. And so it doesn't matter in terms of what type of lock or crimp or form that you bring, as long as it's got some quality to it. I think there's a couple females out here that really combine the things that I'm looking for in terms of volume and stoutness, and then a couple of that, a really nice fleece to get ahead of them. We're going to use your age. You right here will be your champion. Congratulations. And this young lady right here will be your reserve. Congratulations.
Our Open Show Champion ewe goes to entry 1907, first in the yearling ewe class, Broken Rock Farm 0310. Aurelia, Victoria Wiggins McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. The reserve champion was our first place in the junior ewe lamb class, 1934, Wild Air 0098, Little Moose, Montana Airy, Bolton, Massachusetts. Now ready to show for junior show champion and reserve champion ewe. The junior show champion came from the yearling ewe class, entry 1914, Springs Tube 0819, Waffles, William Higgs, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. The reserve junior show champion from our junior ewe lamb class, entry 1941, WS Farms 0853, Raven, William Higgs, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. And William receives a $50 gift card from Boot Barn for having that champion junior show ewe. Now ready for Best Fleeced Shetland. Best Fleeced Shetland. Sorry, we're going to do Best Fleeced at the end. We'll do Exhibitor's Flock, then Breeder's Flock, then Get of Sire, then we'll do Best Fleeced. we're going to do exhibitor's flock before the best fleece. So we're going to do exhibitor's flock, followed by breeder's flock, get of sire, and then we'll do best fleeced at the end. Now ready for breeder's flock. Now ready for get of sire. Placing on the exhibitors flock class, first place goes to Montana Airy, Bolton, Massachusetts. Second place, Brian McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. Third place, Katie Cole, Bolton, Massachusetts. 4 to Amy Springstube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. 5 to Alexandria Springstube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. 6 to Mershell Springstube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. Placing on the breeder's flock, first place to Brian McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. Second, Katie Cole, Bolton, Massachusetts. Third, Alexandria Springstube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. And 4, Mershell Springstube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. Now showing get of sire. Following the get of sire class, we will show best fleeced Shetland. Best fleeced Shetland will follow the class that's in the ring. Now we're ready to show for Best Fleece Shetland. Placing on the Get of Sire class, first place goes to Brian McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. Second place to Katie Cole, Bolton, Massachusetts. Third to Victoria Wiggins McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. Fourth place, Amy Springstube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. 5, Alexandria Springstube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. And 6 to Mershell Springstube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. Again, now ready to show for Best Fleeced Shetland.
Well, thank you, exhibitors, for bringing these back out here for the best fleece. All of these are to be commended. I think there's a couple in here that have a little extra pizzazz about them. And I've got to go in here and make a decision, but they're extremely, both of them are long locked. There's a lot of distinctness of crimp, a lot of luster in them. One of them to me just has a little more luster, a little more style and formation as we move down. And the big thing when we get in here is the density of that fleece. And so we're going to use this little black one right here to win your fleece. I love the design. I love the style, the character, and the crimp. Super soft, and I think it's this, the density. The next one in line will be this young lady in the pink right here, this little ewe lamb right here. Beautiful crimp. Maybe just like to see a little more density to it, just a tick more luster. But I think both of these individuals should be commended on the quality of fleece and fiber that they have. Good job.
Shetland exhibitors, we want to remind you, you do need to get photos taken if you had a champion or reserve at least, ram or ewe. That includes our junior show champion and reserve. So please do that now while we're finalizing the premier exhibitor, premier breeder points. Our best fleeced Shetland came out of the senior ram lamb class. Entry number 1878, Broken Rock Farm 0367, Bourbon. Victoria Wiggins McPhee, Ashby, Massachusetts. We need Brian McPhee to come. We need Brian McPhee and Alexandra Springstube to come to the announcer's stand. Our Premier Breeder Award goes to Brian McPhee of Ashby, Massachusetts. If we can. And our Premier Exhibitor Award goes to Alexandra Springstube, West Stockbridge, Massachusetts. That does conclude our Shetland show today. We will be back in here at 1:30 with Cotswolds.